Kinship has felt like a gift. And I discovered the gift really early on, like in the 1980s, right after I got out of college, because I was struggling at that point. There was something in me kept that that was dismissing God, but not willing to move away from Adventism, which
Mm-hmm.
is what I had left. And if it wasn't going to be Adventist, I didn't want to do it. And I went to SDA Kinship, and it just looked like a bunch of white folk that I was not going to be able to get along with. So I, I set it aside and yes,
I'm just aspirating water over here.
okay. And I set it aside and um went about my business trying to figure out what my spirituality was going to be. I had a child in the 90s. I mean, I didn't have it, but a child came to me in the 90s. And I really wanted my child to experience some of the good things that I had experienced as an Adventist. And so, but I knew I couldn't go to Adventist church. I had already been to the Adventist churches in Maine, in the ones that were around in Maine. I had been to the Adventist churches in Springfield when I was in school, and none of them were anything that I wanted to take my child to. None of them. And mostly because they were all white and my child is a black male. And so I I decided to go to an AME Zion church, and that turned out to be a disaster too because they were totally not um, affirming. And so I went to the UCC, who were affirming, but they're still pretty white. My child was having none of it when he was 12. I said, "You get to make your own choices now." He said, "Okay, see ya." So he was gone, and and but I was still like, this doesn't feel right. I still feel like an Adventist, and I sort of want to be around Adventist folk, but I don't want to be around no Adventist folk that are gonna mess with me. And so I looked up SDA Kinship again, and I sort of just slid in a little bit, and they still weren't doing anything that it didn't feel like they were doing anything that I wanted to be involved in. And so I just, sat quietly in the background for that for a few more years. And then when I retired um, and moved to Adventist land, I decided that I live in Huntsville, Alabama. Oakwood, Oakwood is everywhere. When Oakwood Alumni Weekend happens, it's like the city shuts down. You can't find food. You can't find any vegetables in Huntsville on the weekend of Alumni Weekend. It's the funniest thing. Um, but I still wanted to be with what I thought were my folk, you know. And so when I retired uh, 3 years ago, I I jumped in earnest. And one of the things that is a gift for me is how you guys affirm my humor. It's not, and you affirm my humor, but you don't. I don't think you equate it with my being black. You just equate it with my being me. You're you're just affirming me, which is just like which is good for me. You know, most people don't affirm that in me. Don't affirm that funny stuff in me. So I always love it when I always love that gift. I also love the gift of knowledge that you are imparting to me about nurturing, because even though I do facilitate and consult with churches um, about becoming affirming. I don't always approach it in a nurturing way. So the nurturing safe communities is has also been a gift for me. And just being in the presence of just being in the presence is always nice. Not all presences are good, you know. I have to tell you that not all presences are good. Even on kinship, not all presences are good. But I have found some community. Okay, and now I can do it. So now I can say Tom, Catherine, Pam, Kirsten, Tom, Catherine, Pam, Kirsten, Tom, Catherine, Pam, Kirsten. Okay, there. I'm done.
That's your story?
I'm sticking to it.
Let me just say, um, has being in kinship affected how you are with the other people or with yourself?
Say that again.
Has being more interactive with us, because you know the way that it just seemed to me like you just appeared like the sun rising. I was wondering if being part of this community affects how you see yourself or how you see others.
No, not really. I came as a whole authentic person when I came to kinship. And what I did was I came to kinship and said, if y'all don't like who I am, I see ya. And so you affirm me as I am because I brought my authentic self. This is it.
And boy, are we grateful.
Well, I'm grateful.